Let's continue exploring the universe within art and the art within Minecraft. I'm your host, OmLedu, and welcome to the first episode of our New Player's Guide. I know several people who have just started their Minecraft journey, so I decided to make a series of guides to help out the new player. But the first thing you do in any world is start punching trees. You're going to need a bunch of wood, especially when you're first starting off. And you can get tree saplings by breaking the leaves. So if you're in an area with not many trees, you want to make sure to break some leaves until you get a sapling or two. But after you've punched some trees, the next step is to collect some food. So chickens, cows, pigs, and sheep are going to be your main food sources when first starting off. It's also important to note that you can get a critical hit if you punch something while you're falling down. So if you jump and punch the thing as you're falling down, you'll see little sparkles appear, and that means you got a critical hit. And on your first day, finding 3 sheep of the same color is also very, very important. If you can manage to kill 3 sheep of the same color on the first day, you will have enough wool to make a bed. It's also nice to know that if you jump while you're running, you will move a little bit faster, but this will tank your food bar a little bit quicker as well. But once you've found and killed enough sheep to have 3 wool of the same color, it is time to make a bed. So first we need to make a crafting table. So pull up your crafting menu, and we're going to make some planks out of the logs that we collected earlier, and then we're going to make a crafting table using 4 of those planks. Then you have to set the crafting table on the ground, press interact on it, and it will bring up a bigger crafting menu. And from here, you can look at everything you will need to craft all sorts of items, but for now, we can make our bed with our 3 planks and our 3 wool. So a bed will allow you to skip the nighttime. If you place it down and click interact with it, whenever it's nighttime, you will sleep through the night, which will skip the night. It also resets your spawn point, so if you die, you will respawn at your bed if it's still there. But the second most important thing to find on your first day is coal. Whenever you find coal, simply place down your crafting table, and we need to make a wooden pickaxe. So we need to turn some of your planks into sticks, and then use those sticks to make a wooden pickaxe with some of the planks that you have. And now you'll be able to dig out the coal. Now the reason why coal is so important on the very first day is not only does it allow you to make torches, which will illuminate darkness, but it also allows you to make a campfire, which can cook your food for free. To make a campfire, you will need to click on your crafting table, and you will need 3 sticks, 3 logs, and 1 piece of coal. Being able to cook your meat without using fuel is really helpful for early game, because you really need to save as much coal as you can for torches. But once you've made your campfire, simply place it on the ground, and then click interact on the campfire while holding some meat to place up to 4 meat on the campfire. Now you can eat raw meat, but it won't gain you very much hunger. Like that raw beef only gained me 1 hunger bar. So while we wait on our meat to cook, let's gather up some more cobblestone so that we can make some stone tools. The main tools to focus on when first starting off is just a sword, an axe, and a pickaxe. The sword is good for killing mobs and animals, the axe is good for collecting wood, and the pickaxe is good for breaking stone. There's also a shovel for breaking dirt and gravel, but those are really easy to break by hand, and then a hoe, which is mainly used for farming. But after making your tools, your food should be ready. Whenever the food is fully cooked, it will just pop off of the campfire and float on the ground. But be careful because items despawn in 5 minutes if left unattended. So stay close to your campfire so that you don't lose any of your food. But always keep an eye out on the sky. When it starts to get dark, you need to seek shelter immediately. Mobs will spawn anywhere that there is no light, so nighttime is super duper dangerous. But if you manage to find a bed, you can just skip the nighttime altogether. But also, be sure to note that you can't pick up your campfire. If you break your campfire, it will simply drop some charcoal instead of dropping the campfire. But charcoal is basically the same thing as coal, so you can use it to recraft your campfire wherever you want it to be. But when you found your shelter, be sure to block the entrance so that mobs can't get in. And if you manage to find some coal, you can use the coal with some sticks in order to make torches. Torches will provide light, which will allow you to see in the dark, but also will prevent mobs from spawning anywhere that light is. Mobs also won't spawn within 20 blocks of a player, so you don't have to worry if you didn't manage to find any coal. Now if you did though manage to find a bed, you can just skip the nighttime altogether by sleeping in the bed. This will cause the sun to come up, which will burn any of the mobs that spawned during the nighttime. Now if you find yourself stuck in the middle of a field with nowhere to tunnel into, you can always just dig down a bit and place a block over your head in order to wait out the night. Another thing you can do, if you didn't find enough wool to make a bed, but you did find some coal to make torches, is you can spend the nighttime just digging. Just start digging a tunnel diagonally down or really anywhere that you want to go, just to collect some ore and some stone. You never know what you will find when mining in the Minecraft. Nighttime also gives you a chance to explore the crafting menu or to explore the settings. Now, one setting that I would recommend turning on is go to Game and then scroll down to where it says Show Coordinates and flip that to On. This will show the coordinates for where you, the player, are located. These coordinates are helpful for finding your way around the world, but will also assist you in locating specific ore that you are looking for. So like coal basically only spawns at the top part of the map above Y0, but in larger quantities, basically the higher up that you go. Same way with iron, except that iron can be found anywhere on the map from top to bottom. So if you want iron, but you don't have a mountain or a hill, simply dig down to Y16, and that's where you should mine in order to find the most iron. Or for diamonds, they're at the very bottom of the map. And because of the way that ore distribution works, you will inevitably want to go down into the belly of the world. Now, one thing to note is that water will completely negate fall damage if you land on the water. So you can jump into a giant hole as long as there is water at the bottom, and you will be perfectly safe from your fall damage. Now, if you ever find yourself in the bottom of a cave and you are totally lost and just have no idea where to go, just start digging diagonally upwards. I've done this many times, but you can just dig diagonally up. Even if you don't have torches, you can just dig diagonally up in the dark. Just be careful that you don't get snuck up on. Zombies can come up your hole and try to get you. So just be sure to block up your pathway as you go, just to prevent things from sneaking up on you. Now also, if you find a cave like this that has water going down, you can actually swim up the water, which is kind of strange, but it's super helpful for navigating the world. And of course, the more that you play and the more that you explore, the more proficient you will become at mobility and avoiding obstacles that are in your path. Like if you finally found some iron, but there's lava in the way. You can either go above it, around it, or you could just box it in using some blocks. You could even put it out using some water. Water and lava will flow, so if you just kind of trap in the lava, it will stop flowing and eventually go away, leaving the world a little bit safer. But the third most important thing to keep an eye out for when first starting is iron. Iron is super duper helpful for crafting tons of different stuff. Just be aware that you cannot use a wooden pickaxe in order to harvest the iron. If you try to use a wooden pickaxe, not only will it take a long time to mine, but it actually won't drop any iron. You need to use at least a stone pickaxe in order to harvest the iron. But iron is necessary for so many different things, so, try to find as much iron as you can, as early as you can. Whenever you find it though, you will need to smelt it in a furnace in order to turn it into a craftable item. So use a crafting table to make a furnace out of some cobblestone. Then place down your furnace, click interact on it, and you will be able to insert your raw iron and a little bit of fuel in order to smelt it. Now again, try to avoid using as much coal as you can, but at the beginning of the game, you won't have any other option. Just coal is really important for making torches, which allow you to explore more of the world. But also, spend your first 3 iron making a bucket. This is really important, and I'll explain why in a little bit, but first let me kind of show you some of this menu that I forgot to mention earlier on. So if you don't see the crafting guide on the left-hand screen, these 2 buttons right here will toggle between the crafting guide and the old school crafting menu. Then you have these 4 tabs over here, which simply sort the items that can be crafted, but I never use them. I always leave them on this magnifying glass that shows all of the items. And then this toggle right here switches between your craftable items and all the items in the game. So that can be helpful if you want to see how to make something, what resources you will need. And also, you can smelt food in a furnace. This is totally fine. Rather than using a campfire, this food will not despawn, so if you want to just throw some food in here and leave and come back, the food will be safe and sound. But the reason I would recommend building a bucket with your initial iron is so that you can pick up some water in that bucket and then use that water to help you navigate your world. If you see a big hole that you want to jump into, you can just throw down some water and have a little elevator to go up and down, or to just jump down safely since water will negate fall damage. But especially when you're first starting off, you don't have enchantments, you don't have good tools, so digging is really slow, and you don't have very many blocks either, so you don't really want to be wasting your blocks or spending time digging needlessly just to get from point A to point B. Where with water, you can place it up high, and you can even use it to climb. Since for some reason you can swim up water, you can jump up, place water, and then you can even grab the water and replace it really quick, because water takes a little bit to disappear. So if you get good at this, you can, swim up sheer embankments that don't have any footholds whatsoever. So getting used to using the water bucket as a navigation tool is super duper helpful. The water bucket is basically Minecraft's grappling hook. And you can even use the water bucket as a sort of defense measure, because water will push mobs away and slow them down. So if you ever find yourself surrounded, you can just throw down some water and hope for the best. And another thing you can do that you may or may not have seen is the MLG jump. If you jump from a really high place, but place water on the block right before you hit the ground, the water will negate the fall damage and you will be okay. This will take some practice getting used to, but if you can get used to it, it really allows you to just kind of jump off mountains and still be okay. It's also nice to have water around in case you run into lava. Whenever water touches lava, it will either turn it into cobblestone or obsidian, depending on what type of lava the water is touching. And speaking of getting around the world, on top of using a water bucket to maneuver, you can also place blocks at your feet on Bedrock Edition, just by looking diagonally down in front of you. And it's also really, really important to get really good at placing blocks under your feet. Simply jump, look down, and place a block, and then keep jumping, placing blocks underneath your feet in order to pillar up. This is super duper helpful for all sorts of things, but for the new player, I would recommend building landmarks. The farther away from your base that you go, it's easy to get lost. But if you build a simple cobblestone landmark like so, and then place a torch in the direction of your base, this will really help guide you back home no matter how far away you go, and make your world a little bit more explorable. And using the torches to guide your way home will also help if you ever get stuck outside at night. You can just follow the light to find your way home. Or another thing you can do if you find yourself surrounded is you can pillar up. This is always a safe alternative to fighting mobs or trying to dig somewhere. Digging can take time, but pillaring up can be super fast if you get used to it. And if you pillar up high enough, nothing can really get you except for phantoms and skeletons, and I guess spiders too. But if you want to build yourself a little box, you can place blocks at your feet and then use that to build a little box for you to stay safe in. Keep the monsters at bay and wait out in your little skybox. Also know that sunlight won't kill all mobs. Luckily, spiders are really easy to kill. Now, when it comes to skeletons, I recommend running at them at a diagonal so that their arrows go kind of over your shoulder. And then for creepers, you just kind of go in, take a hit, back up, go in, take a hit, and back up, and then repeat that over and over to ensure that they don't blow up. You have to be near the creeper for an extended period of time for it to actually explode. So just take your shots and be sure to stay out of its range. And before you go and try to take on all the mobs in the world, it is nice to have a set of iron gear. So always be on the lookout for more iron. Once you get a set of iron gear, you can take a few more hits, but the iron gear is kind of expensive when you don't have fortune, or access to an iron farm or any of that stuff. Now there is also leather, but honestly the leather gear is just absolutely terrible. You can get it just by killing cows or horses, but it really does not help all that much. But, when you're first starting off, beggars can't be choosers, so just go with whatever you can afford. Every little bit helps. And once you have some basic armor, it's time to start exploring the caves. You can now take on the mobs with a little bit less fear, and the more that you do combat, the better you will get at it. You'll learn some tips and tricks, like placing dirt in front of you just to block line of sight from skeletons to force them a little closer so that you can get them. But really, when I play, I just spam torches. Just be sure to run through the cave first and just light up the cave as much as you can, trying to just avoid the mobs. If you spend time killing mobs while there's still dark parts of the cave, more mobs will spawn while you're killing the original ones, and then it's just like this never-ending cycle. But if you just run through and light up all of the area that you want to explore, then you can go back and explore it safely. Now of course some caves are going to be too big for you to light up. This is just a general rule of thumb to use. And also, if you ever need wood while you're in a cave, just know that saplings will grow underground, but they do need enough room to actually grow. You can also use bone meal to grow trees and plants quicker if you're impatient and you've killed a bunch of skeletons. But again, saplings will require, some headway. They need some space above them and around them in order to actually form a tree. So if you ever find your saplings not growing, it's probably because they don't have any room to grow. But if they have room and you bone meal them or you just wait for them to grow naturally, you can get wood while you're underground. This will allow you to make your torches, as many torches as you possibly need to explore all of the caves. Or even fix your tools. It'll give you wood and sticks, for all of the basic tools that you need to explore the caves. So it can be nice to bring some dirt and saplings down into your mine. That'll just save you a few trips to the surface. I remember when I was first starting off, I always hated having to go all the way back up to the surface just to, harvest some trees. So I started just planting trees down in my mine so that I had wood anytime that I needed it. But if you keep digging down and down, you will eventually run into bedrock. This is bedrock right here, and it cannot be broken or destroyed. But this is also where you find diamonds. So, I recommend, when you're ready to find diamonds, dig diagonally down from your base so that you can get down here quicker, and then go 1 block above the topmost bedrock and build strip mines. Just dig a pathway that is 2 blocks tall. But be careful, because you need at least an iron pickaxe in order to harvest your diamonds. If you try to harvest diamonds with a stone pickaxe, you won't get the diamonds. So you will need to smelt some iron and make yourself an iron pickaxe whenever you find your diamonds. But when you're first starting off, iron and diamonds can be really expensive. So I recommend trying to use stone tools as much as you can, just to conserve the amount of iron that you have. But either way, making an iron pickaxe is the same as making any of the other ones, except it uses iron instead. But once you have it, you're ready to mine out your very first diamond, and that is always super duper exciting. Now I will say, mining diamonds without fortune is really, really sad. You only get 1 diamond per block, where if you have fortune, you could get up to 3 diamonds per block. But again, when you're first starting off, you're not going to have fortune. But that's actually what we'll be going over in the next episode, is how to get the enchantments and the levels. But for strip mining, I recommend just building a tunnel that is 2 blocks tall, and then going over by 3 or 4 blocks, and then just digging a tunnel back in the other direction once you get tired of mining in one direction. And also remember to use the correct tool for the correct job. If you run into gravel or dirt, do not use your pickaxe to mine it. It will cause a greater durability loss if you use the wrong tool to harvest a block. But also, if you run out of torches, if you're strip mining in this pattern, you can just dig back to your original tunnel to light up your new tunnel. Since your original tunnel is just 3 or 4 blocks away, you can just poke a hole in the wall, and your original torches will illuminate your new tunnel. It will still be kind of dark, but it works. Now when it comes to climbing, jumping up blocks will absolutely decimate your hunger bar, as well as eat up your time. So especially for places like your mine that you're going to be visiting all the time, I recommend building a staircase. Now if you use a stone cutter, which is 3 andesite, granite, or diorite, plus an iron bar, you can actually make stairs cheaper than if you make them on a crafting table. So if you make a stone cutter, place it down and click interact on it, you can throw in some cobblestone or any stone variant, and it will bring up all of the variants that you could make with that stone. Now when it comes to stairs, they will be 1 for 1 if you use a stone cutter. Whereas if you use a crafting table, it will require 6 stone just to make 4 stairs, so you actually lose out on resources. But with a stone cutter, making stairs is 1 for 1. So always use a stone cutter to make your stairs. But once you've made some stairs, you can build you a stairway to easily traverse up and down from your mine, or your other commonly used areas. You may need to raise the ceiling a little bit so you don't bump your head and waste some of your time by slowing down, but this will really help conserve, time and conserve hunger. And so what I normally do is I normally have a little setup at the top of the staircase with all of my crafting tables, and some of my storage so that I can just go up and throw in a bunch of items once I'm full, and then I can just run back down the staircase and go back to mining. Chests are really nice, not only to store, some of the lesser used items like mob drops and stuff like that, but also for your valuables like diamonds. Just be sure to always bring some wood and some torches and some coal with you so that you can continue mining or exploring the caves as much as you want. And it's always nice to bring a bed so that you can set your spawn point, so that if something kills you, you will respawn nearby and be able to get your stuff. And the last thing we're going to talk about in this video is how to get the enchanting table. So with your first 3 diamonds, you're always going to want to make a diamond pickaxe. The reason for this is that you need a diamond pickaxe in order to harvest obsidian, where all of the other diamond stuff, is nice, but it's not really necessary. And really, you don't want to mine a bunch of diamonds without fortune. You want to get fortune as fast as you possibly can. But you need to mine obsidian in order to make an enchanting table or a nether portal, or even an end chest, depending on how you're trying to get your enchantments. But again, we will talk more about enchantments and experience in the next video. But for now, you need to turn lava into obsidian by placing a water bucket near some lava source blocks. Now, I also recommend digging down a little bit beside the obsidian because a lot of times there is lava underneath the obsidian. And also be careful because your water will try to push you into the lava if you're doing it at a lava lake like this. So just build you a little wall at the edge of the water so that you don't get pushed into the lava or any of that nonsense. But you do want to leave the water there in case there is lava underneath the obsidian. And then just mine out the obsidian with your diamond pickaxe. It will take a while, but it's worth it. But be careful about mobs. Mobs will sneak up on you still if you don't light up the area. They almost got me. They tried to push me into the lava. That's not nice. But for the enchanting table, you only need 4 obsidian. So once you get your 4 obsidian, you can run away. I tend to try to collect a little bit more while I'm doing this, just because it takes so long to actually collect the obsidian, and you might even find some diamonds while you look, because you will need 2 additional diamonds to actually build the enchanting table. But once you have your obsidian, tell the mobs goodbye and head back up to the surface, because you need some sugarcane. So a lot of times what I do when I first start off, if I see sugarcane, I'll grab some, and then wherever my base or my mine is, I will just spam the sugarcane along the coast like so. That way it's growing while I mine. But you will need sugarcane and leather. So you will need to kill a few cows, and if you use your axe to kill a cow, you actually get more leather than if you used your sword. But you need some paper and some leather in order to make a book so that you can make your enchanting table. So I'm going to go ahead and make another crafting table and plop that down so that we can make our enchanting table. Now also with crafting tables, I tend to just leave them all over the world so that you don't have to constantly make them or carry them around. But anyway, we need to turn the sugarcane into paper, like so, and then we need to turn that paper with some leather into a book. That's super duper easy. But then once we have a book and obsidian and some diamonds, we can make our enchanting table, which means we are one step closer to getting fortune and efficiency and protection and all of that other amazing, enchantment stuff. So you can set your enchantment table down anywhere you want to, but you will need some bookshelves and some lapis and some experience, which is kind of the bottleneck there. That's why in the next video, I will be talking about how to actually get all of your enchantments or how to get the levels so that you can actually make the enchantments and use them. And there are even some ways for you to get the enchantments without needing a bunch of experience. But again, we'll go over all of that in the next episode. But that's all we got for this one. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, share, and subscribe. It really helps me out and it makes me super duper happy. And if you have any questions or requests, feel free to talk to me down in the comments and I will do my best to help you out. You can also check the video description for a link to my Discord. From there, you can join my Minecraft community to talk to me about redstone, share pictures of your builds, find players to play with, or find worlds to play in. Really anything Minecraft related that you would like to do, just join the Discord and talk to me there. But that's all we got, so until next time, I've been your host, OmLedu, hopefully teaching you a Minecraft trick or two, and reminding you, as always, don't forget to have fun. Bye-bye!